everyone, I'm Becky.
I'm Sarah.
And we're doing Bickering Book Reviews. Today we are talking about our favorite books of 2010 because the year is almost up and we're reflecting.
I'm terrible at reflecting.
I'm sad the year's almost up because
this was so we have a blog as well. If you haven't seen our blog, please stop by. And on the blog we had to come up with 10 of the past year.
And by we had to, this was my decision that I texted her at like 2 in the morning.
I'm
She's
like,
sure, yeah.
I'm like, okay. I struggled so hard to find my top 10.
See, whereas I'm like, I have to narrow it down.
Because, well, and the thing is, I just need to get out of this headspace, but I'm just like, I'm tired of talking about some of these books. Like, they're so good, and you should read it. And if you haven't read it by now, like, where are you hiding under a rock? Like, How have you not read it? So, like, it was so hard for me to find books that I'm still just as passionate about now as I was in the beginning.
Yes. So we're going to tell you our
It's a personal problem.
We're going to do our top 5. They're in no particular order.
Yeah, mine aren't, because I reserve the right to not put my books in order.
I kind of did in order, but whatever. So I'll start. My first one that everybody should read was There's Something About Sweetie, which is the sequel to When Dimple Met Rishti by Sandhya Menon. We did do a video of this, but if you have not read this is the cutest, like, little romance love story. It's a perfect rom-com. It's about Sweetie, who is a completely self-actualized track star who is a little heavier, and Ash is from a very wealthy family, and basically his parents are like, you keep dating the wrong girls, we bet you that we can find you the perfect girl, because in the Indian culture, parents like to introduce their children, and so they introduce him to Sweetie, and sparks fly, and they go on these like adorable dates, and it was just really entertaining.
All right, you want me to give my first book?
You can do your first book.
Or do you want to do all of yours?
No, we'll do back and forth.
Back and forth, got it. Okay, so the first one I'm talking about is Lady Rogue by Jenn Bennett. We did do a video on this one as well.
And it made my top 10. It was hard. Like, I
really liked this one.
I loved it.
So it's her first, like, fantasy. She's written a couple of realistic fiction. This is the first fantasy. And basically it's about Theodora, and her father is essentially Indiana Jones. He disappears when he's looking for an artifact, and she kind of loses all her money, you know. Stuff happens. So she kind of hooks up with a family friend, Huck, who is also potentially a love interest, and they go in search of her father, and it pulls in kind of supernatural ties of Vlad the Impaler and different kind of magical artifacts. And it's really good, and it's fast-paced, and I'm desperate for this to be a series, but it's still, like, I was like, because I forgot that it's not a series, so I'm like, okay, when's the next book coming out? And I'm looking for it, and I'm like, it's not.
I haven't even seen it announced, and it kills me.
It needs to happen. I need more. So that's my first one.
We need it. My next book is by Rowell. It's Wayward Son, which is a sequel to Carry On, which I wrote about on the blog.
I think it is Carry On My Wayward Son. I sing that every single time I go by it on display.
That's every time I see a copy of the movie Coco, I think of that scene in Mean Girls where he says, "You go, Glen Coco," every time. And I just saw Mean Girls the musical, and there's a line where, like, they say, like, "You go, Glen Coco," like it's like a big musical moment, and I'm like, yes, because it's part of the whole movie. But anyway, back to Wayward Sons by Rowell. If you've read Carry On, it's kind of like a spoof on Harry Potter, but I loved it. And basically, this is the sequel that takes place about a year later. Simon Snow doesn't have any powers anymore. He's kind of a loser. And his best friend has decided that he and Penny, the best friend, and Boz, the vampire boyfriend of Simon Snow, and Simon are going to do a cross-country road trip of the United States. And magical hijinks ensue, and it's hilarious. There's a lot of these parts where they keep saying, we're still in the same country. Why is this country so big? And it just cracked me up. But it's funny, and there's like cute romance stuff, and I thought it was going to be a sequel, but there's actually a third book coming out, because all of a sudden the book ends on a cliffhanger, and I was like, why? But that's that one.
So my next book is called Ordinary Girls by Blair Thornburgh. Thornburgh? I don't know. It's a GH at the end, so I'm having trouble here. But I did write a blog post on it if you want to take a look at that. But basically, I came across this. It was getting buzz for a prince, and I had no idea what to expect. The cover is gorgeous. And I really enjoyed it. It was like really kind of quirky and fun, and I like kind of the sister give and take. It's essentially a modern day retelling of Jane Austen's Sense and Sensibility. The family lives in this kind of quirky house that has like these weird rooms, and they're running out of money. And so the main character, Plum, is just trying to figure out how she can help earn the money so they can stay in their house. And then they've got like the doctor that lives with him, but he's like a music doctor, so like there's that weird aspect of it. And basically she's really good at English, and she kind of flees to a neighborhood boy's house, and he needs help in English, only she like fake tutors him. So she's not like actually tutoring him, but she is. It's really kind of, it's all strange, but it all comes together, and it's so odd, but I really liked it a lot. Like, above all others. I don't think it's going to get prints. I don't even think it's going to get recognized at all, but it's fun. It's fun. You should read it.
We should have fun books. So my next book is the last book in the Stalking Jack the Ripper series, Capturing the Devil by Kerri Maniscalco, who I've kind of decided to become like a fangirl of. And I actually, at Book Expo, like I stood in line for like 40 minutes to get the third book in the series signed. It was a very exciting moment for me.
It was intense. It was on the plan for the day.
It was on the
Everything
plan.
was planned around
Like,
it.
I think I literally said to people, if I leave only with this book, I will be fine.
She did.
I did. And I know some people did not enjoy the way the story ended, but I did. Audrey Rose Wadsworth and I just totally, you got me all confused. And Thomas Cresswell are in the United States after traveling on the ship full of murderers to the United States. They
were going to Australia?
They were not, because there was a serial killer on the ship. And
of course there was.
And
wait, weren't there multiple serial killers on the ship if they were all murderers?
No, there's a lot of murderers. But they're in New York, and they're trying to solve the mystery, but there's also their romantic entanglement. It's during Victorian times, and they want to get engaged, and then there's like a complication there, and they end up like, there's stuff that W.W. Holmes plays into it. I personally thought it was a perfect ending as a fangirl. I enjoyed it, and I'm super excited, looking forward to her new series.
All right, so my next book is Slay by Brittney Morris. We also did a video on this. I am super upset that it didn't make the list for Mock.
I can't believe it didn't make Morris.
For Morris.
I can't believe it didn't make Morris.
Why not? It deserves it. Unless, does she have a book that we just don't know about?
I don't think so.
I thought we looked it up and we still couldn't find it. If you know that she's got a book before this, let me know, because I'll read it. Because this book was fabulous. And basically, it's about Kira, who is this awesome coder. She creates this MMORPG world, like an online, kind of like, I want to say Fortnite, but that's probably wrong. But basically, it's a role-playing game for the Black community. And
World of Warcraft.
Yes, that was what I was thinking. So, World of Warcraft. And basically, some of the gameplay has spilled over in the real world, and somebody's ended up dead, and so it just kind of creates a mystery surrounding this. It's just really well written, and it's super interesting. It's fast paced, and I loved it.
I really enjoyed it. Like I said, I really thought it was a lock for the Morris.
I'm shocked that it wasn't on Morris.
So my second to last book is a memoir. It is
penultimate. I finally learned what that word meant.
So
sorry, I'm super distracted.
It's okay. We did a video on this one too. It's by Shaun Hutchinson. It's called Brave Face. It is a rip your soul out, hook you, and make you like feel heartbroken, but at the same time like this level of
understanding, like he gets it.
Intense connection also to him. But it's like one of the most beautifully written stories, and actually a friend of ours told me, who suffered from depression, she's like, I've never read a nonfiction book that gets it so much. But like I said, we did a video for it too. It's incredible. I hope it makes the Prince list. I don't think it's going to.
I hope that it does too. It's
really
well written.
It's
on our mock list. So.
It's like.
I need to stop calling him Hutchinson. It's Hutchinson. I know
Hutchinson.
that because I can read, but I don't say it.
I'm sorry.
That, and it did make my list too, just not my top 5.
Yeah, it was
because I want to be different.
It was awesome.
Okay, so my next one, I think I'm waffling. Like I was waffling on my last 2. So what I've decided, just game time decision, A Curse So Dark and Lonely by Brigid Kemmerer, because she was so awesome when we went to hear her speak.
She was
and
great.
I love her books, and I love this book, and essentially it's kind of like a Beauty and the Beast retell. We did do a video on this book, which we can connect to, and essentially Prince Ren has his manservant go into the real world to kidnap women so that
it's true, but it sounds horrible.
It does. So has his manservant go into the real world to kidnap a woman each season to try to help to find love, and if he finds true love, then he can get out of this cycle of turning into this monster that kills everybody around him.
The Beast.
But the girl that they kidnap, Harper, she's not playing that game. She's like, I'm not going to fall in love with somebody who kidnapped me. And so now she's like working her butt off to get back home, especially because there's some serious drama going on with her personal life. And she's got to fix that up because her brother could potentially end up dead. So good. And the second book's coming out in January, so I cannot wait to finish that.
And we're going to video it. So my last book, and every year, because this is the second year we did this, and last year I realized that my favorite book of last year, the year before, 2018, was What If It's Us? And so, like, I make this list, and, like, as I put stuff in order, it always surprises me what I've decided is my favorite book of the year. And this last year, my favorite book was nonfiction, Dear Ally Carter, How Do You Write a Book? By Ally Carter. And it's literally the process of how to write a book. It's her, she goes through how she does it, but she also has, like, other people come in, like Marie Lu, Maggie Stiefvater, talking about how they write the books, talking about query letters. She has an agent come in and talk about that. David Levithan, who does editing, he talks what the editors look for. He talks about, like, the pitches and how they decide what Scholastic is going to publish. And it's just, it's really accessible. It's a quick read. It's perfect for anybody looking for, like, a gift for someone who's trying to write a book or just really big fans of YA. But to me, it's the book that left me, like, it's the one I'm going to tell everybody, have you seen this yet?
Because it's essentially, it does for the youth world what Stephen King did for adult writers.
It's, yeah.
I mean, you couldn't have, I don't think I could have made it any more perfect.
And she literally, like, she'll talk about, like, are you trying to write for youth? Are you writing YA for adults? Here's the difference and all that stuff. Because her stuff is so for youth.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's just probably my favorite book of last year.
So remember, I reserved the right to not rank mine. So this is just another of my top 5, and it falls nowhere, anywhere. Anyway, this one came in, like, under the gun because I just finished it. Haven't even had a chance to blog it. It's called Like a Love Story by Abdi Nazemian. And it is set in the 1980s, and it's basically about the AIDS epidemic. There is a Resi who kind of moved from different country by way of Toronto, comes into New York, and he knows that he likes guys, but in the 1980s, like Shaun David Hutchinson talks about in his book, it was not acceptable to be gay, as far as kind of people believed that it was this terrible life, and so Resi is forcing himself to be kind of straight, and in doing that, he hooks up with Judy, and he starts having a relationship with her, but it turns out that her best friend, Artie, who is openly gay, Resi starts having feelings for him, and so it's just kind of about this falling in love and accepting yourself alongside kind of the AIDS epidemic and kind of standing up for fairly priced drugs and, you know, not turning a blind eye to this disease that was killing so many around them.
It's an important story.
It was really good.
So those are our tops of 2019. If we did not say one of yours, let us know in the comments what we should be reading.
Yeah, seriously, what are your top 5?
Seriously.
I want to know. I want to make sure that I've read it.
And if one of our top 5 you agree with, let us know.
If you don't agree with, let us know.
Yep. So we will see you later.
See you next year,
next
even.
Year. Oh.
I hate when people say that, especially, whatever.
See you around. Bye.